people, and welcome to the third ever edition of the King Life Podcast with yours truly, Josiah Willis, alongside my co-host and good friend, Anthony Lombardo.
Hey guys.
Today we discuss some big YouTube stuff that's going on between Markiplier, CoryxKenshin, and YouTube itself, as well as give reviews on Dreamville rapper JID's new album, The Forever Story, Cobra Kai, Invincible, among other things. Anthony, bro, what games do you play?
I don't know. I usually play a bunch of like first-person shooters. COD, even though it's been sucking as of late.
Yeah.
Do you play much Call of Duty?
The last Call of Duty game I played, Black Ops 3. I know I'm so bad.
Black Ops 3?
I think I played that, and I played World War 3. If I could finally remember the last time I played Call of Duty.
What War 3? I don't know that one.
Is it World War 3? Is it
World War 2?
Yeah, World War 2. My bad.
That's so good. What do you think of those two, by the way?
Pretty interesting games. I prefer Black Ops 2 so far to be the best Call of Duty game I played. And I also love the way they did the zombies on that game. I remember me and my brother have fun just like murking them while we're on a train and they coming after us. So much fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I didn't like 3 or World War 2 much at all. I hardly even played them. The story in 3, the storyline in 3 was just so whack. But 2 is definitely great. And I always debate whether 2 or 1 is better because I just like the one story so much. You remember that one? Mason, Reznov.
I think so. Was it from the first Black Ops or is it just
the first Black Ops?
The first Black Ops. Okay. Yeah.
That was sweet.
That was sweet. I thought that was good. I thought Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was just as good too.
I think it was too.
I love playing the storyline there. I mean, it was just a great campaign and everything. To me, when people always debate over it, okay, what was better? Like, I know people say Call of Duty Ghost was trash.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, and then I think I saw the newest addition to Call of Duty, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's not a bad addition, but I don't have it quite yet, and I might not be able to get it. I might get it for myself eventually, but then I don't know.
Which edition are you talking about?
It's not. Because they always make some modernized versions of Advanced Warfare and Modern Warfare. I mean, it's just to make money and just to really just like put it out there.
I do think that I think they ran out of ideas, so they're rehashing the old stuff as much as they can right now.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm just like I don't know like what idea they're gonna come up with, next. I just like for it to be a much stronger storyline next time throughout, so everyone can follow it and be taken on a good ride. At least something that would spark an effective way for everybody to play the game. I'm not saying that Call of Duty fans are diehards. They're very passionate. If they play the game, they're gonna play it either way, regardless of how the campaign may look. To me, I think the campaign could just look 10 times better than what it is right now. But I don't know.
Did you ever play Modern Warfare's campaign, like the new one?
I did, bro. Modern Warfare, I played that. And I played Advanced Warfare, and I thought Advanced Warfare. See.
You mean the new Modern Warfare, or are you actually thinking about Advanced Warfare? That
one I think I played the older versions. I never played the ones that they were kind of like revamped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like,
I did. I played a bunch of Warzone too.
Warzone?
I have a bit of a different, I don't know different, but my take on the campaign of Modern Warfare is I felt as a Call of Duty fan, an older Call of Duty fan, I just felt pandered to in a lot of ways because it was like trying to butt in with the older Modern Warfare stuff. And if they used Captain Price and just decided to call it that, that's fine. But the last thing I want to do is feel pandered to and feel like they're trying to force emotion out of me because there was some missions in it that were one mission the main bad guy or whatever. He's supposedly is supposed to shoot a kid, but they make sure that you can't see that, and like there's yeah, but there's also like stuff in the childhood that just I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like it's trying to evoke something out of me when I didn't feel that connected to the characters. But did you hear they're making a new Modern Warfare? They're making Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, Modern Warfare 2? So it's like a sequel this time.
The sequel to the revamp.
To the revamp one?
Yeah, and they also made remasters before this of Modern Warfare 1 and 2, the original, and now they make these new ones. It's too much. Too many Modern Warfares.
It's too much.
They got like 3 lines of it now, and it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Like I said, in order for me to get back to playing Call of Duty, they gotta give me a better storyline for me to get to and enjoy for what it's worth. I don't know. I just don't know how I'm gonna get truly emotionally invested into the next game until something really satisfies me, I guess.
To be fair, honestly, I never thought Call of Duty as having the best storylines as far as games go. Even the good Call of Duties, which they are good, they don't necessarily have the most heart-wrenching stories, in my opinion, period.
Sure.
Like the original Modern Warfares, they were great. Call of Duty's Cold Wars, the originals were great. The new Cold War was interesting. It just felt... I liked it, but it's... I think just in general, Call of Duty could have better... Have you ever played... this is such an old game, but Spec Ops The Line?
Spec Ops. I've heard that game before. Maybe I did.
That one's crazy.
What year did it come out?
Oh, God. That's like 2010s, maybe even a bit before.
And around 2010s? Either I saw a trailer for that game or I played it once, but I didn't own it. I'll probably give you...
That game has a really intriguing story. The gameplay, it works for it. Okay. But it's about the story, and it's about like these guys. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It'd be better if we pulled it up maybe and talked about it after you saw it. It takes place in this deserty type thing, and these soldiers are responding to a distress signal. This squad of like about 3 people, and you play as someone in that squad, and. Yeah, that one.
So it's Spec Ops The Line, right?
Yeah, we got it pulled up on the phone here. And the story in it's really good because it's showing just a bunch... It presents a lot of messed up choices.
Oh, wow.
And eventually you're doing stuff like against the local populace in order to find like this guy, which is not the reason you're even there. But it's a ride. And it's... one of probably the best games of all time just because of the story.
Wow. I might have to play this game back. And maybe I did see this game. I'm not quite... Let me see. Because it's interesting.
It's one of those games that...
As a dope cover art.
It really does.
Cover art is awesome.
And in the title screen, it shows like a battered American flag in this desert with these big skyscrapers that are sticking out of the sand that are sideways kind of stuff. And it's just playing the American anthem, but it's playing the version that was played by, God, what's his name? It was in the 60s for, God, I don't know, but that particular version was actually in protest to the Vietnam War. It was played, there was no, like, it was played completely in a guitar, and the way it was played made it sound like there was bombs dropping and almost screams and stuff just from the guitar. It was a really good guitar player. But, that's a great game.
Was it the trying to look up who protested against the Vietnam War, but
who protested? The American people protested.
That's then why you ask the question? Oh, you being rhetorical?
No, I wasn't asking a question. I was just saying there's a
in
particular
general.
version
Okay,
of the
okay.
Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, thought
Yeah.
But in spite of that, man, what game system did you play Spec Ops and Call of Duty on?
Oh, that was a PS3 game.
Oh, it's a PS3 game. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has
older
it been
game.
made available for like an Xbox One or?
No, I don't even know if that game reached like enough popularity to get any
Sure.
sort of remaster. I really hope that someone somewhere takes it up, but I have big doubts. So, did you hear anything about the YouTube situation with Markiplier and all them?
I seen a notification about it. I think through my cell phone because I kind of do follow Markiplier every now and then when I get a chance. But no, I don't know what exactly happened. Do you know, bro?
Yeah, it's really nutty. We actually got the video pulled up because this was something I was wanting to talk about. So let's just hear the beginning part of this, and we'll talk about it after.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to play it for you, the official audio courtesy of CoryxKenshin.
CoryxKenshin.
And the video's titled YouTube Racism and Favoritism. That's just a side note, but
That's
whatever.
Well, that's what it's about.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's see what this is. Go into detail regarding to Markiplier, right? Okay.
I'm going to try my best to articulate this video as thoroughly, as plainly, as eloquently as possible. I don't want there to be any lost context. I don't want to just look like I'm coming out of nowhere having a temper tantrum because these things are happening. The allegations I am levying towards YouTube are extremely serious, and I'm taking this video extremely seriously. YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube. Which one is it? Here's my proof. I've been doing YouTube a long time, okay? I never want to be that guy, oh, it's because I'm black. Oh, these issues are happening because I'm black. There have been certain situations that I looked at kind of funny. I said, it could be because of that, but nah, I'm not trying to press that. I don't want to build that narrative around my YouTube channel. This time, I can no longer let it slide. This is the situation. August 18th, I uploaded The Mortuary Assistant. A lot of you would know it got age restricted because the following video I did, I let you guys know it got age restricted. YouTube didn't tell me why. I saw that all these other YouTubers were playing The Mortuary Assistant and only my video seemed to be age restricted. And I looked for like an hour, 2 hours. I was scrolling all different types of people's video. No one else's was age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Hey guys, I'm not sure why mine got age restricted. Could you look into this? Appeal rejected. They doubled down. The policy team said, no, Corey, your video is restricted for good reason. We're not going to tell you why, but it's restricted. That's our final decision. I said, okay. I get with my YouTube rep. I sent him an email. Hey, could you look at this? This is some weird stuff going on. Only my video got age restricted. My YouTube rep, who isn't on the policy team, he looked at my video and he said, hey, it could possibly be this part at the end where the woman was battling some depression. And I'm just going to leave it there, lest this video also get age restricted just because I'm talking about it. So I looked at that part. The first thing I did was try to find other YouTubers who had that part, or at least a part similar. Now, Markiplier, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I just want you to know I have a lot of respect for you, and I didn't mean to drag you into the middle of this. Your channel just happens to be a great reference point because A, you're a really big YouTuber, and B, you're not black. So I can look at your channel, and then I can look at my channel or look at anyone else's channel, and make sure that the things and the games that you play, that they're enforcing the rules equally to everybody. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted. So I send the video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you send that to the policy team and see what they say about that? He said, wow, Corey, that's some astute detective work. Let me send this to them and see what they say. What do you think happened after that? I'll give you a second. They came back and they removed my age restriction. They took it off after they already rejected my appeal. I sent them the clip of Markiplier's video that has the same thing, and they removed it. Now, my YouTube rep, he was excited. He was, oh, great, this is awesome. Look, Corey, they took the age restriction off. I said, why? I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video, and they used that to verify my innocence. So I sent my YouTube rep a lengthy email.
So yeah, so that was CoryxKenshin, you guys. Venting out his frustrations regarding YouTube's, I guess his way of viewing discrimination. You know what I mean? Talking about the game that he was playing, being age restricted, and that Markiplier somehow has this bias with YouTube where he kind of like gets away with it. I'm gonna just give the floor off to Anthony here, and Anthony, just explain to me what is really going on right now.
So he goes throughout the video. He makes some heavy allegations, but he also makes some very my brain ain't working. He makes sense. He comes from a very compelling standpoint of where he usually, and this is what he said, usually he takes breaks from his content. He'll take maybe 6 months, 9 months. I don't watch him, but if he says it, that is something that is very verifiable. You can just look through the Wayback Machine and see it for yourself. He takes breaks from his content, and he will, once he does come back, he will get trending for a few days. But when he gets trending, you can see that all of a sudden something, after a few days of him trending number one, he will suddenly get some copyright claim or strike or something on an older video, like from 2019 or something. And that happens pretty much regularly whenever he gets back into the trending after he comes back. And he wonders why.
We're referring to
CoryxKenshin.
Okay,
yeah.
CoryxKenshin. All right.
And he wonders why. And it's interesting because he's thinking, he believes maybe it has to do something to do with the skin, the color of his skin. And from his standpoint, it makes sense. There's no way to really truly verify whether or not that's the case or whether or not it's favoritism. But as a content creator, he should have no reason to be generally picked on by either an algorithm or likely people in person, because this is kind of confirming that the people know there's something up with the way things are going. And that's obvious. And the way the policy team is, they don't have names connected to what's happening. So they could realistically get away with pretty much whatever they wanted. And the idea is, he brings up in his thought process that every time he goes trending, he thinks maybe there's some people in that position that are like, we gotta find that video from 2016. That's pretty much the way he says it.
Right.
We gotta. What you doing about that, huh?
Yeah.
We gotta keep him down. That's his thought. And there is a bias that's noticed in other YouTubers that have been tuning into that. Markiplier. Jacksepticeye, I'll start with Jacksepticeye. Jacksepticeye made a video similar to Markiplier's where it's kind of a try not to get age restricted, but before that he was talking about the situation where he has a girlfriend and she records like him, and she records in the other room while he records and all that stuff. And stuff will happen where she will get age restricted for things or whatever, and he won't. And he brings up the question, well, is it because YouTube thinks highly of me because I've already been established and well known on the platform and stuff? or is it because maybe there is some form of favoritism? But it's a trend that's being noticed by a bunch of YouTubers. And something similar happened to Critical a few years ago. I know anyone who's tuned in already heard all this, but Critical, he basically reacted to a clip, the same clip that ironically Markiplier reacted to, but Markiplier didn't get in trouble, and Critical got a copyright strike. Not just like copyright thing where they take down the video.
That is too.
He got a whole strike for it.
Wow.
And it was the content was basically these cartoon characters get out of a truck and like fake beat up a guy. That's the content. And he got a copyright strike.
What?
And it was a live video, whatever.
No way.
They were just dressed up in costumes, but still, the extent was interesting. And as soon as Critical brings up, hey, Markiplier did this, why doesn't he get a strike? He didn't do it maliciously, but it was for the sake of the argument. Well, that seems weird. And Markiplier actually agreed, and it's like, yeah, YouTube, where's my strike? Guess what they did?
What do you do?
They copyright striked Markiplier.
And
that was,
so I see your point. I see your point.
This situation has happened before.
Yeah.
And it's just pointing fingers at why is there this big sense of favoritism? Why do some creators get treated better than others? Wouldn't you think that an algorithm should be catered to all creators equally?
Well, CoryxKenshin's
Here, I'll mention this too.
Yeah,
CoryxKenshin, he goes very far to be like friendly for everybody. Mm-hmm. He goes and censors his curses and stuff. Mm-hmm. He censors curses in the video games he plays. Right. He goes very, very far. He's the type of creator that shouldn't be having these problems at all.
Yeah, I got you. It's just that, we're going to hold people, accountable for certain videos. And it just came up to my mind. And no, I'm not saying here having I'm not sitting here saying I'm holding a grudge to this, but I do remember one of the most controversial videos that ever got like being put, up to upload was Logan Paul. Yeah, I'm quite sure you know where I'm going with this. And this is and once again, you guys, this is from yesteryear. It's not like in current going 2022, but I mentioned this to point out an example that was a little too far and how it was very controversial. So I'm referring to the video where Logan Paul basically has a video of him just showing like dead bodies. You know what I'm saying? People who I believe who hung themselves. I never saw the video. I didn't want to. It was very disturbing and embarrassing and downright just I will say disrespectful. But Logan Paul is one of the most famous YouTubers, and the reason I bring him up is I don't got any ill will against the guy. I don't like Logan Paul, but I don't have any will or hatred for him. I'm just saying it to say it's one thing for him to do that and then get taken down. But for content creators who are playing these video games and all this other stuff, you shouldn't go as far as to call in for race and think that it has something to do with the color of your skin to me, is nonsense. And no, I'm not no Uncle Tom because I'm a black man that's saying that. No, I'm saying it to say, look at it this way. We are all accountable for our actions, for what we do playing those games and being content creators. Not saying you can't do it, but think about this. Markiplier, like how you mentioned before, he got himself a copyright strike because of what he did that was associated with Jack, right?
He got a copyright strike because Critical and him both pointed out that it was kind of BS for Critical to get a copyright strike on that thing, and then Markiplier get it. The point is that they did it.
But was Critical and Markiplier what's their race, their ethnicity?
They're both white.
Both white. So it shouldn't be a racial bias.
But it does show a certain amount of pettiness on the platform.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
that pettiness has been shown recently. Recently, Markiplier's segment in the Game On event that happened, which was a big creator event. There was a whole bunch of big creators playing these games, all getting together for this. His segment got cut because of that try not to get age-restricted challenge where he played a kind of risque game, but it was all censored like many times over.
Okay.
And basically, he did that as a form of protest to the weird potential biases that YouTube seems to have, as well as seeming amounts of favoritism. I'm not saying necessarily racism or sexism, but I am saying probably some form of favoritism.
Yeah, I can vouch out favoritism from my own spot. I wouldn't go as far as vouch out racism because I believe racism exists, but I don't believe to the extent of what we do on YouTube, it is going to challenge the idea of because I'm black, I can't do a reaction video. Because I'm black, I can't, do a makeup video, or I can't go ahead and do a comedy video, or I can't, showcase my performances or do anything that will give me any form of attention, whether it is gaming or not. So I don't look at it like, oh, we're not able to, have that access and do our videos the way we want to do. Even if we're getting like videos, like I'll tell you one thing I find sometimes a little bit disheartening at times is when my videos, I will find my videos sometimes getting blocked, you guys on my channel, Josiah Willis, because I'm doing reactions to big artists who are signed to real big labels, and it either gets okay with, it gets partially blocked, or it just gets fully blocked. You know what I'm saying? I've gone through that in my fair share of things, earlier, a few months ago. I mean, even in January, I got a copyright strike from YouTube because of a song I tried to appeal to them with by saying, okay, I have fair use for this, blah, 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 take that into consideration. But the copyright, the label just did not want to agree with it, and so I was sent a copyright strike. I was banned from doing certain, reactions unless I would got blocked for it again. And if I get two more, my channel was down the drainer. You see what I'm saying? So I do feel like in some ways there's favoritism amongst that because I can do an album reaction to like a JID or to like a Wale or to like a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. But I can see everybody else doing their reactions. They're doing full songs. You can hear the full songs throughout the whole entire content. And they're not getting blocked. But for whatever reason, because I'm not at a certain position or I don't have a bunch of subscribers, I mean like a whole lot of subscribers, I have to get blocked. So I do find sometimes a little bit like, okay, why am I the only one getting blocked when I put so much into this video to begin with, but they can't get blocked because they're of a high notoriety, or is it the fact that they have more subscribers? I don't get the aspect.
Yeah, keep in mind, all YouTubers are susceptible to content strikes or copyright strikes.
Yeah.
But there is probably a clear sense of if you are more popular on the platform, you probably can get away with it a little more, at least as far as the algorithm is concerned, because it's pretty much, maybe it's the algorithm or maybe it's whatever copyright algorithms that other people are putting up to copyright strike you because it's corporations doing it or whatever. But there is likely, or there has been seen some bias.
Has Markiplier responded to this quite yet, or is
on Twitter? I mean, he made a video, the age restricted challenge, not to get age restricted, and then he posted the segment that was cut on his own channel because it was an interactive thing and people could do it, but it's a little more shallow than it was. Because it was supposed to be a little different because it was supposed to interact with the live stream itself.
Sure.
But in that way, he has responded. He's also talked on Twitter about it. And a lot of YouTubers in general have actually talked about it. There's all types of videos right now and stuff about the situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get that. As I'm coming up on this article from Markiplier,
You mean about Markiplier?
yeah, about Markiplier. My bad for stuttering on that name, but Markiplier. There was something to do with the I think the video game called Game On.
That was the live stream. The live stream event.
He said something along the lines of, let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to read his response. He said something along the lines of, he tweeted a simple question. He said, did YouTube recut the rest of my segment And then fans quickly noted that while Markiplier still appeared in the chapter descriptions for the event, his segment did appear to have been cut, and many of the chapter labels were incorrectly labeled.
Yeah, it's funny because they actually left in where his content was supposed to be, but it wasn't in that timestamp at all. It was something completely different.
And then he go on to conclude, yeah, YouTube cut it. Sure, glad Lexi and Marcus, Rachel, Nervely, and I busted our behinds to get the segment ready for the big game on the event just for it to be cut without warning. Forget that, he says, explicit that, right? I'll put it on my channel tomorrow.
So, my thoughts are that this situation's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I think it's going to go pretty hard. Something big's going to happen, and then I think everyone's just going to try to calm it down by not talking about it, including YouTube. And the sad thing is that YouTube never talks about anything. They never give reasons why they do the things they do. They never are held accountable truly unless it's some big thing on Twitter. It's just, and the one thing that's the saving grace here is that news articles are picking it up.
Yeah.
Because it is somewhat of a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And so...
especially for all YouTubers, and included, you know what I'm saying? Especially ones who do participate, in gaming, you know what I'm saying?
And who are not in as nearly a privileged spot as Markiplier sits.
Yeah.
And he's, as far as things are concerned, he's as high up there as anyone can be. He's made YouTube originals using his own money. He's collaborated with YouTube in so many ways. He's been on the platform for years, a lot of years. I don't remember how many, maybe 9. It's crazy. But
yeah, it's crazy to think. But in retrospect, how are you viewing this? What are your feelings about the overall situation? Do you agree with what Corey says over this video we just played, or do you feel like at the end of the day, Markiplier shouldn't have been, bashed that way because it's not necessarily his fault? He's a content creator just as much as he is.
I think Markiplier is being bashed because he's talking about the situation. I feel for Corey because I think this is the result of just a lot of feeling just not cared about as a YouTube creator.
Same here.
And it's coming from a lot of different places. I think a lot of different content creators just don't feel like YouTube is for them and they're for whatever interests they have, despite creators being their bread and butter.
See, I don't think it has something to do with racism. I think it's just overall them making policies and changing it up. About a year ago, YouTube decided they want to take away the dislikes. And to me, I thought that was awful. Yeah, I thought to me that was what's the point of having that? Doesn't make my channel feel realistic because it don't make it look believable. They have made quite the changes. They took away editing options, for YouTubers who really do, further ads when they upload a video. So they have done some things that makes you go, okay, I'm left scratching my head. I can't help but scratch my head because you're not giving me any particular reason as to why you're doing what you're doing. So when you took the dislikes away, you're not affording my audience, my fans to go about whether or not they like the video or they don't. Which either way, it's not going to bother me. It's just going to show you that at the end of the day, everyone's not fond of what you do. And that's fine because we as human beings have to be realistic. We have to be raw and unapologetic for how we feel because at the end of the day, we have our reasons for it. So I like what CoryxKenshin had to say. I do agree with him, and then there's points for me that I feel like I disagree with him. I don't think it's almost so much about favoritism. I don't think it has something to do with racism per se. I just think at the end that YouTube is taking into policy considerations, and on top of that, they are trying to, they tell you to respect guidelines, for instance, and certain things you probably shouldn't say, you shouldn't do, you shouldn't glorify this on your channel, and I think that's where they're coming from on their end. But at the same time, it could be a privilege thing. It could be. I'm not saying he's also wrong for what he's saying. He might be right. But at the same time, we don't know for sure. We're just sitting here in the background observing this whole entire ordeal. And it's It's interesting.
I will say the complaints in general about YouTube are not new. I believe that there is a certain amount of ineptitude happening with either the policy team or maybe the whole company, where they are willfully choosing to ignore the very creators they're supposed to be supporting.
Yeah.
And the worst part is that part where I'm saying willfully.
Mm-hmm.
They know, they have to know that people are saying this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the worst part.
That's the
They're
worst part.
catering to other people.
Yeah.
Then the other people that are not the people that are really using the platform like they should be.
Yeah.
They're catering to they were catering to talk shows. They were catering to
Yes.
to
Sponsorships,
corporations,
everything like that.
sponsorships. They were probably catering to politics in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only explanation I can really give to why they would remove dislikes, is because so many of those damn campaigns and sponsors and all that, so many of them were getting dislikes and they didn't like it. So they removed it in single-handedly one of the most selfish, as far as a corporation standpoint goes, one of the most selfish moves they could have done. Because universally, anybody who was on the platform didn't like it.
Yeah.
There was nothing positive to be gained from that except for YouTube. There is a very selfish standpoint here where YouTube just doesn't care. YouTube does not care that much about the creators. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing petty crap like all that.
Yeah. They won't go as far as to doing copyright strikes, let alone take away a video or call, do something that was real paid towards, CoryxKenshin. CoryxKenshin was, his point of what he was trying to say was, okay, if it's something to do with age restrictions, all right, I get all that, but understand too, it's a little hypocritical because y'all do know that when I'm doing my channel, I cut off parts of which y'all don't like for me to include. Not to mention that not only am I doing that, but you're not holding somebody else accountable for what they may be doing, and I'm doing the same exact thing. So if I'm gonna get hit with this age restriction, nonsense, okay, I get all that, but then we gotta do that for the other YouTubers, we gotta do that for the other content creators. And that, his argument was very valid. It made sense. And of course, he got real passionate. He yelled, he's screaming, he's mad, he's upset, irate, understandably so. I get all that. It's just that we still don't know the full answers as to why things are going about. And YouTube is not going to explain themselves, or whoever is the head of the department is going to explain themselves.
Yeah, it's a big mess. And right now, I think the media attention is good for what's happening, but I also think that some major policy changes are going to happen. Like you remember when PewDiePie, did an oopsie. I feel like something like that's going to happen, where the media attention may actually end up hurting the people more than it helps. It'll help the situation in the short term, but it will not fix it. And that's the biggest issue, is that YouTube will not put in the time or effort to fix it because they don't care.
They don't care. Especially when you're still up in your high horse and everything like that. I mean, we can probably go too deep with this, but then again, I don't want YouTube to come at me and be like, hey, sit down this video or a podcast and be like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that, you shouldn't be saying that. Well,
Good thing we're on SoundCloud right now.
I know, yeah, we're on SoundCloud. Follow us on SoundCloud, you guys. Just keep on supporting. And then, we'll just keep on making these podcasts. We'll be very deliberate based on what we'll probably air and upload during this podcast, so that if we was to ever upload this, we probably won't, because YouTube will be like, yep, let's go right here and remove it, because they're bashing us, and we're probably a little sensitive to the fact that we're telling the truth, and nobody wants to hear that sometimes.
Yeah.
But what can we say? This is what we give you guys.
But that's probably enough of that. We've probably talked the listeners' ears off a little bit. But what music have you listened to lately?
So I did do an album reaction review on my channel under my name, Josiah Willis, to JID's The Forever Story. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this got to be one of, if not the best hip-hop album of the year 2022.
Really?
Incredible body of work. JID is phenomenal lyrics. He's a fast-paced, intricate, technically skilled rapper. from Dreamville, you know, St. J. Cole's label. And I'm a big fan of him. I've been doing reactions to his music since last year in 2 years ago in 2020. Been a fan of him since, I want to say, 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I've been a huge Dreamville supporter. I love everybody from Dreamville. Jaco's campus, they running like an army of just warriors, lyrical warriors. You know what I mean? And they have a queen who sings very, very well. So shout out to Ari Lenz, by the way. But yeah, I wanted to read from this article that talked about JID's album. It says from Stereo Gum, said, stream JID's excellent new album, The Forever Story, where he says, the world was a very different place in November 2018. He's referring to JID's, you know, here's what he says.
Okay.
That's when the fiercely talented young Atlanta rapper JID released DiCaprio 2. His last full-length project, 4 years, is an eternity in rap music. But JID has never disappeared. Instead, he's been releasing stunning one-off tracks and annihilating his guest features for a long time. And the anticipation for his new album, The Forever Story, has become feverish. The album is here now. So I'll just read that part, and then I'm gonna play a little bit of some of his content from the album, you guys, to give y'all a refresh as to y'all already heard it, or if y'all have not heard it. We're going to introduce you towards JID's radar.
I'm pretty unfamiliar with JID and everything, so.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna play you radar. Just give me 1 second as I get it up here, and you just tell me what you think. We're gonna play just a little bit of it, not fully. You know, want to do any copyright, but we'll see.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, JID's radar. Listen to you guys. Here we go.
We have a penalty.
So yeah, that's a little snippet of the record. It's called Radar from The Forever Story. Some other notable highlights from that album, I would say, is the songs called, they got, let me go towards The Forever Story track list right quick, via my phone. You got songs like Dance Now, you got Crack Sandwich, Chloe Blue 31 was a standout, you know, showcasing his singing abilities on there. We have records like Just in Time featuring Kenny Mason and Lil Wayne. He has his cousin Jonte Austin on the album too. Jonte Austin has been notable to write, you know, some of the greatest R&B songs. Has wrote in for the best music, you know, artists in that genre. You got any questions about it?
Out of curiosity, why do you believe it's the best album in 2022, right?
I don't believe necessarily that it is the best. I think it is content to be the best of the best hip hop album of the year. Hip hop wise, JID comes from a cloth of rap where it's rare nowadays to hear an artist who's that talented to where his regard is at, because rap has changed over the past, I want to say 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many years, because it's been more about commercial hits. It's been more about glorifying, you know, sex, money, drugs, and all types of different, you know, fortunes of life.
It's been rap for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, rather than, you know, a full song about lyricism where your technical wizardry of words are on display, or if you're telling, you know, a storytelling record, you know, on wax, you know, you're not being appreciated for that anymore. You're not getting any just due or put on the radio. And I think JID is an artist that is being recognized for his talent, is being shown a whole lot of praise, yet he still feels underrated because they could offer him more, and more by, you know, nominating him for Grammys, more by putting him on the radio, more by just giving him more of a platform where he can be invited to a movie show. He has done some shows where he has been featured on television, like Nick Cannon's Wild 'N Out, but he just, for whatever reason, he's not being appreciated, I think, sometimes enough. I think a lot of fans who are of JIDs feel the same about him.
Okay. So he's pretty well renowned then, yeah?
Yeah, very well renowned. It's been 4 years since his last album. So, and part of that was because of the pandemic. So we had to really put
That's fair.
a break on that and wait for him to come out with some music. But he stayed consistent. He's been doing very well. Has remained, dropping singles, being featured on other people's albums. He did a song with Imagine Dragons this year. Last year called "Enemy."
He did it with or for?
With
I'm assuming.
yeah, he's a feature on Imagine
That's
Dragons.
cool. I didn't know
Enemy.
that.
Yeah. They had a song called Enemy, which I think was promoting Arcade Legends, a show they were promoting for Netflix. I think it's called Arcane Legends or something like that.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know it.
Yeah. But he got that, and for some reason, he's just doing his thing, man. Like, he stays consistent, and we respect it, like the heck out of him for it. So, just want to see him, continue to get shine and just do furthermore.
Yeah, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's keeping at it. Never
Yeah,
that.
man. You got any questions regarding the song?
I'll be honest. I had a little bit of trouble keeping up. But
Well, overall, do you see talent? Do you feel like
there's certainly an amount of talent there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the undertone, just bass in the
Mhm.
background and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know what he's using. Maybe he's using a synthesizer or something. Seems like it.
Okay.
But here's something about me. I'm always a big fan of using like different snippets from other things and just putting them in songs or whatever. Like especially like speeches or whatever. I think that stuff's cool. Or like
Nice.
for Eminem Stan, how that entire that entire thing's from what's her name, Dodo?
I think it's Dito.
Something.
Dito.
One of those.
Dodo.
Dodo. I don't know. But
It's Dito.
I'm a huge fan of stuff like that because I
Yeah.
just think it's super cool.
Yeah, shout out to Slim Shady.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how it goes.
I don't know.
That was horrible.
But we watched that show Invincible the other day, yeah.
Mhm.
And I was wondering what your first impressions of it were.
It felt like a Justice League ripoff. Like I feel like that's why I feel like I was getting.
Granted, we watched just the first episode. This is first impressions of the first episode.
First episode. So off of first episode, and mind you, it came out in 2021. My apologies, you guys. I was sleeping from last year.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, but we watched it, and my first impression of seeing the way it was. First of all, I didn't know it was gonna be explicit like animated TV show for one.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I found out, seeing the superheroes, in general, they look like Justice League ripoffs, especially the dude who was called Darkwing.
Just Batman.
Completely Batman ripoff. Just the black version. Like he was like black and he was wearing the Batman like costume.
He talked the same.
Even the way he talked, his mannerisms, the fact that what he owned as far as the gadgets that he had, I'm like, come on, man, this is Batman. And then they got a Flash on there. I'm like, that's Flash. And you had your own Superman, and we're gonna get to Superman.
Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm. See that? Mm-hmm. See what they did there? Mm-hmm. Omni-Man is one of the most savage characters I have ever witnessed. Not simply because of what the dude, as far as like the way he looks, but the fact that what he did towards the end of the episode, in case everyone has seen this, I'm not spoiling anything.
We also watched a bit of the second episode, yeah, just a little bit. Not enough.
It was a bit of the second episode, but then it was like, okay, we're seeing this. His son basically becomes a superhero. He decides that he wants to be just like his dad. He's always had an admiration for his father. And so he comes up like, okay, yeah, I want to be like my dad. I haven't got my powers yet. And then eventually he gets his powers. He flies up. He's, going through his growing pains with it. His dad, Omni-Man, is teaching him the basics, principles, what you should do, what you should not do. And then eventually he finds his confidence, becomes invincible.
Yeah.
Because he is optimistic about his future, and that's based on how he feels. It's not something about him actually being invincible because you can see him.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But towards the end,
do you want to say what happens at the end, or do you want to just say bad thing happens? and Omni-Man was directly.
Before we get to towards the end, tell the just let them know exactly how I felt. Like, how you got me hit to the show in general.
Well, it was on the podcast. We mentioned it, and I mentioned The Boys and said it was kind of like Invincible. And it's easier for me to pull up Invincible right now than it was The Boys, and I was trying to figure out a way to get you to watch that. I feel like The Boys might have been a bit too much for you, at least to start with. So I chose Invincible because Invincible is, interestingly enough, the more digestible one of the two. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that so that you could understand maybe a little more of the. There's a pop culture thing around it. It's just cool.
And they have a great cast too. A great cast. I didn't realize that one of the supporting characters in the show had Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz plays Amber. I believe who will go on to be his love interest. I'm just predicting here. I'm not quite sure if that's true or not. I'm talking about like the love interest to.
You know who Amber's voice actress is?
Yes, Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz was in. Have you ever seen Deadpool 2? Like the part 2 of Deadpool?
I think I did, but I don't remember it.
She was one of like the coolest like superheroes, supporting superheroes for Deadpool. She also was in the show I watched called Atlanta. I love her character. I think is it Van? I think it's Vanessa. She plays Charles Gambino, aka Don Glover's. I want to say his baby mama in the show. And so I've been a fan of Zazie's work. Plus, she was also in Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. And yeah, she's an incredible actress. I think she. I didn't know that she was in it. I was like, okay, nice.
Do you know who J.K. Simmons is?
Yes, and I didn't realize. I was like, bro, J.K. Simmons, that's his dad. So like,
it's a crazy person to see as his dad for the voice actor.
It's funny because I was like, his voice sounded very familiar. I'm not even gonna lie, but on top of that, I'm like, okay, this is a guy who was in the original Spider-Man, like played James Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like that's iconic. So his voice is iconic with that character. And when you think of James Jameson, you think of J.K. Simmons. So when him playing the superhero the superhero dad to Invincible, I'm like, okay, I'm blown away when I found out the information.
Yeah, I was blown away too. I never saw him be in that voice, but now that I listen back, it's like, yeah, but that's not who I'd expect doing that.
Yeah. Plus, the show has offered widespread critical acclaim, which means it's given rave reviews. So he didn't have me watch a pretty bad show. So salute to you, bro. I definitely enjoying that show, and can't wait to watch the season 1 as it progresses.
But you wanted to ask me about something, right?
Yeah, man. So in return, what was your first impressions of watching Cobra Kai? Side note, while we're watching these shows, by the way, you guys, we're eating some pretty decent Domino's pizza. Sorry, Domino's, but you're decent.
Well, we had the thin crust, I will say.
Yeah, thin crust.
That was even that was a little more mid than even normal Domino's.
Pretty mid.
Yeah.
But what was your first impressions of Cobra Kai season 1, episode 1?
Yeah, only episode 1, by the way. It was pretty neat. I never actually watched Karate Kid, but so far the story was compelling. I like the guy's character. He just seems
William Zabka's Johnny Lawrence character. Okay.
He seems to be hating life at that moment, but he seems compelling, and the episode leaves off with him, making his own dojo from the looks of it, and it seems neat. It's not quite enough to go off to understand what the show's gonna be like, in my opinion, but it is interesting.
So as we are talking about this, just so you guys know, yes, I am fully aware that Cobra Kai Season 5 will be airing around September next month. The thing is, Anthony has never been truly hit to Cobra Kai, so I said, okay, we're going to watch this show. It's based on the Karate Kid, which I don't believe you have seen it.
I have not seen the Karate Kid.
Sorry, you guys. Not everybody has seen a pop culture classic, okay? But yeah, Karate Kid spinoff, and so that's what the show basically really is. It's a a spinoff. He was in the first Karate Kid, William Zabka's Johnny Lawrence's character. So, and he's a oh my god, fantastic actor. If you watch the show overall, you'll notice that everybody stands out in their own way, and it's a great show with a whole lot of cliffhangers to be left every single time, and nice Easter eggs.
Cool. So you remember us right after we first met. We did the rock climbing stuff, and then we did pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were struggling a little bit about with that. Maybe you want to go into detail about that, because clarification. We talked about it a little bit beforehand. He wanted to talk a little bit on it. So
yeah, I just think playing pool. First of all, I've never really played it regularly, so. This year, I think I was able to really get the hang of it, and I've been doing pretty well as a result of tips from I got from my guy Anthony. He a good guy,
and Colin,
and my guy Colin for sure. Colin more so for sure.
Yeah.
But it was I was having a difficult time having to go over my first try every single time, and so I did get a little discouraged for myself mentally. But I told myself also, mentally and spiritually, that I can overcome this. I can get through. Playing this game and learn it very, very well, because I'm just not really used to playing it like wherever else I'm used to doing.
Yeah, and so far we've just been hanging out with Colin a bit here and there. And Eddie, yeah, he likes to play pool too, but mostly we've just been hanging out. A couple times we did pool. That stuff's fun, and it's cool to meet up. And right after that, we got to work. He asked me to work on those reactions, which is sweet. And now here we are, podcast. Hey.
Podcasting, and then just doing our thing and eating at Cheddar's. Him eating some.
Cheddar's was cool.
Yeah, Cheddar's was pretty cool.
Their buffalo chicken is not spicy. Period. But anyway.
Yeah, we had some good times, man, and hopefully we'll have some more times for you guys to tune in. During this podcast, whether y'all like this podcast, good, bad, or indifferent, we hope to give y'all a platform for y'all to listen to, and a podcast, no worry, of all different types of things. So we're going to have some things more in store for you guys in the near future. I hope that everybody can sit around here and enjoy what we tend to offer from time to time. Anthony offers some great insight. I offer some great insight. And just let me know in the comments below. What would you like to see more requests for other topics y'all like to see addressed if y'all have to. And we'll try our best to analyze them and break them down on the King Life podcast.
Yeah. Also, we are saying this from SoundCloud right now, but the reason why I say in the comments below and stuff is because we will be taking this over to YouTube, which will be
very
awesome.
soon.
Yep. So stay tuned for all that.
All right, and for all it's worth, listen to the King Life podcast, and King Life, we are out.
See you guys.